Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We have a huge Supreme Court ruling coming down today. Let's take a look real quick. Breaking news, the Supreme Court has ruled that drawing congressional districts based on race under the Voting Rights Act is unconstitutional. The ruling was 6-3. Huge win, massive ramifications for the 2026 midterms. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. Yep. And, really what prompted this was Virginia trying to, spread the tentacles of Fairfax, Virginia into a bunch of rural counties and try to swing Virginia from 6 Democrat representatives against 5 Republicans to 10 Democrat representatives to 1 Republican, despite the state being an almost 50-50 split. That's really what did this. So let's go and take a look at 2 little clips here. This one's from Fox News.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These 2 districts that were minority majority. Essentially, Louisiana had drawn up districts and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had 2 of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like the dissent sticks together with Justices Kagan.
So it kind of sounds to me like fair maps were drawn, but then minorities in those areas, they didn't think they had enough representation in them. So they, sued to get them changed, and then they changed them to more represent those specific, minorities, and those changes, people are concerned those changes are now going to have to be, changed back under this ruling. That's what it sounds like to me.
Sotomayor and Jackson. But here's what the majority says. They say in some, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race in creating SB 8. That was those 2 new districts. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Now, this opinion is almost 100 pages long, so we're going through to see if it says something more broadly about the Voting Rights Act. That had been the fear on the left, that somehow this decision, if it was favorable for those challenging these maps, that it would somehow do a big chunk out of the voting.
Okay, just take a look at this. Like, this is obviously bullshit. Like, you have all this area, this entire, this is the southern, or pretty central area of the state. I thought this was like the bottom for a second, but it goes all the way to the Gulf. Pretty central area of the state. Goes up here. Like, if you stopped it right here and it was just this, I'd say, okay, that's still pretty shit. Let's be honest. But it's not terrible. But then they got this tiny little bottleneck right here, and they continue all the way up into the northwest of the state with all this absolute bullshit. Like, this is bullshit. How, like, anyone with common sense looks at a district like this and they say, yeah, that's fucking bullshit. That's some gerrymandered political bullshit that should never exist in the first place. Shouldn't exist, should at any point in the past, shouldn't exist now, should never exist in the future. That's obviously bullshit. You don't need a fucking Supreme Court ruling to know that. And the people who, they draw the maps like this, they know that too. They know it's bullshit, but they can get away with it, so they do. And hopefully this, cuts down on people even attempting to get away with this absolute fucking bullshit. Like, what is that?
Rights Act. Haven't gotten to language that suggests that yet. It sounds like this decision is primarily about what happened in Louisiana. So we'll keep digging through this. But for right now, it's a win for those who were challenging these 2 minority-majority districts. Now, as we read through this and figure out the broader implications, there were 20-plus districts across the country that would have potentially lined up with this decision. They could be open to challenges that they were drawn on the basis of race, or that it was the primary factor that was used in drawing those districts. Most of those are throughout the South. So we'll look to see if there's enough sweeping language in this particular decision that may have a domino effect on some 20 other districts. Could be huge for the midterms. We'll continue to read through.
You can see on the bottom here the maps they're looking at. Really, that one they highlighted in almost said LA, in Louisiana. That's really the most egregious one I see here. Just like a cancerous cell just spreading from the one corner of the state all the way to the other. It's ridiculous. I think the line's like right here, all the way in here. Some of these proposed changes, they look a little suspicious to me on the Republicans' behalf, though, like Alabama. But I don't know, like, the history behind the changes, which is really what this is about. But just looking at the maps themselves, like these two blue ones here, they would change into, let's see, they'd put a line here, right? Bring this line down here that makes this, and this. Like some of these changes seem pretty minor, but I don't know. Huge ramifications, especially for like midterms and stuff. There was one more I wanted to look at. That was a Fox News clip.
Seats could be at risk.
Here's how CNN is covering it.
They think 19 seats.
And I will say, hey, props to CNN. They have deeper, more defined colors on their map here. That's much easier to look at. I'll give them that.
They think 19 seats could be at risk all throughout the South. The question will be the timing. Is this a 2028 play? Is this a 2026 play? There are some primaries here coming up, not until later in the cycle, August 6th. There's one in Tennessee. That's Steve Cohen's seat. That's a majority minority district. That's in August 6th. The one Democratic seat there. The Jim Clyburn seat in South Carolina. That is the Democratic seat in South Carolina. That's a June 9th primary. Jamie, this shows you the ramifications long term for this ruling.
Absolutely. Just think about that number, 19 seats in play. And let's look at this politically. Laura, you talked about confusion going into this race. We're worried about voter suppression. Apart from the long-term impact, we are going to see people take advantage of that confusion. There is going to be, these midterms are so...
What does she mean by that? Wasn't it people taking advantage of the Voting Rights Act before when they redrew these districts? And now they can't do that?
High stakes. That anybody who thinks they can take advantage, on the state level of this decision, there is going to be a scramble to see if they can.
I mean, I'm guessing she's just talking about like getting special sessions to redistrict to gerrymander again, just like Virginia attempted to do, to make the districts reflect the outcome of this ruling. But I don't know why she's using such a vague language. Kind of weird to me.
Because each side thinks this is an existential midterm with the House, especially.
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, if Republicans don't win these midterms, which historically they won't, let's be very clear, the opposition party almost always wins the midterms, almost every time. But if the Republicans don't win these midterms, then it's really going to stall a lot of what Donald Trump wants to do, a lot of his agenda, a lot of the things he promised in his campaign, right? And he's done a somewhat good job of fulfilling a lot of those things, especially with immigration. But realistically, even with deportations, I mean, I guess if you count self-deportations, it's been great. But with forced deportations, he's actually lagging behind the likes of Obama. So, I mean, I would love to see a lot more of that happen. Instead of pussyfooting around, like you get these people out in the streets, blocking the feds from driving here and there, or surrounding an ICE facility. You really just got to send in the National Guard and just round all those people up, arrest them. If the local cops won't do that, would love to see him do more stuff like that. But I mean, it's really going to stall the Trump administration if Republicans lose the midterms. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting couple months, especially after this decision, and we'll see how it shakes down. That's about all I wanted to talk about. Appreciate you stopping in. Peace.